Hayden Lowe off the edge. That's been a excellent position of recruiting gains for Miami here in recent years.
Yeah, and add another big-time player to that list. Hayden Lowe was committed to University of Southern California. He's from Oaks Christian in Westlake Village, California. And, an All-American type player, 6'4", 245, kind of playing that hybrid outside backer edge. But, he's known for putting his hand in the, well, not dirt, but on the artificial turf, as it were, and getting up the field. But yeah, no, he's pretty damn good, guys. If you look at 247 sports rankings on top there, number 3 edge in the country, number 3 player in California, number 44 overall is what they proprietarily have him. The composite, some of the other rankings are a little bit lower on him. And that's because, as I was doing a little bit of early research here, looks like Hayden Lowe missed a lot of time as a sophomore and a junior. Only played in 3 games as a sophomore per Max Preps. Still had 16 tackles, 8 for loss, and 3 sacks in those 3 games. Only played 8 games as a junior with 29 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks, and 7 hurries in each of those years. But 11 total games over 2 years, even for somebody of his stature, you kind of say, we'll see what won. But, as a senior, he's come back with a vengeance, 52 tackles, 13 for loss, 12 sacks, 10 hurries. A PBU, so pass batted down the line, recovered fumble, which he returned 19 yards, and this pop-up got in the way, so I don't know if that's a touchdown or not. And blocked 2 field goals also. He did not have that fumble return for a touchdown. But all of that put together in this one season shows the kind of elite player that Hayden Lowe is and the kind of talent that he brings to this roster. So when you look at guys on the roster right now, he's almost to like half an inch and 3 pounds, the exact same size as Cole McConaughey, 2024 signee at edge rusher, who has played a lot this year. Actually, he's not going to redshirt McConaughey. That is because he's played in far too many games. But you have, and like McConaughey was like, from Alabama, all-time sack leader at his high school, things like that. And it was just kind of like, well, like a lot of people weren't on him. He was committed to Louisville. We saw that and we're like, we would rather you play for us. Didn't even bring that up when we beat Louisville this year. Darn, shucks. Anyways, but yeah, you have a similar kind of talent and somebody who's like not been under the radar, but been on the radar even longer than McConaughey, but a very similar athletic and size profile, although on first glance you'd be like, I don't necessarily know, but yeah, it definitely is. So I expect Lowe's composite ranking to rise through the rest of this cycle because he has been an absolute menace off the edge. He is currently the highest rated player in Miami's 2025 recruiting class, usurping the spot of SJ Alofatuli from Bishop Gorman, who had previously been the highest rated player in this class. The All-American lineman from Gorman. So, yeah, this is a huge get for Miami. Miami had been working on this flip for a while. Lots of people have been talking about it. I've seen 247 talk about it. I've seen Gio Milian talk about it, as being possible about, the impression that Miami had made on Hayden Lowe really having a lasting impact. And even though he committed to USC, there was still, talk of Miami every once in a while coming from his side and things like that. And Jason Taylor being like, hey, I'm not going to stop recruiting you, and when you have a Hall of Fame defensive end being like, I want you to come play for me and be the next in line like I was, it has weight to it. You know what I mean? And yeah, so all of that put together and Miami's completed the flip on Hayden Lowe. And yeah, Miami's going to continue to work to add the elite kind of talent that they want and need in this class as it goes towards signing day, which is a mere 3 weeks away from today.
Yes, I did not realize that until today, that it wasn't the typical mid-December. Somebody threw December 4th at me, and I said, that's not National Signing Day. It would be 2 weeks later, the 18th.
It used to be, but coaches were talking about that interfering with, bowl prep and all kinds of other things. And like you're really serving 2 masters at once when you're having to recruit all the way to signing day while preparing for games of consequence. So Yeah, it did get moved up officially. Early signing day is 3 weeks from today, which is why I've been talking about writing these notebooks in the past and everything. And I'm, working my way through the list. I'm just about halfway done now. I'm hopeful during this bye week to get the first draft of all of them finished. But yeah, no, December 4th is the day. So that is not a misprint. You did not hear that wrong. I did not misspeak or anything like that. December 4th is early signing day. So yeah, and I know other people. One of my friends hit me up. He was like, "Yo, Cam, you didn't tell me what signing day today." Signing day today is for fall sport or for winter sports. So, like basketball signing day is today. So, like both the men's and women's teams announced their signing classes. Miami Hurricanes women's basketball, the number 5 recruiting class in America. Incredible for them with their brand new coach. So excited to see that. But yeah, so there is a national signing day today. It is not for football. And I know that we're football centric here, but there are sports other than football. So just wanted to let that be known. So yes, there is a signing day today, but the one that you and I on this show are caring about, December the 4th, in 3 weeks, that is the correct date.
And what also becomes significant there, of course, you're talking about your work cycle is unlike any other year for Miami since joining the ACC, other than 2017. You will be preparing most likely for an ACC championship game on the same week that you're preparing all this recruiting material, and the coaches are preparing for a championship game and trying to wrap up a top 5 recruiting class.
Yeah, a lot going on, which is why I've been talking about working early, they don't have the ability to let it last until, after Thanksgiving and then get started on notebooks. I just don't have that. So, this is just like one of those years back when I was teaching and said, you know what? I'm actually going to input my grades as they go. I'm not going to wait until, the day before grades are due and turn on my podcast and sit there and just do all this data entry for 8 hours at a stretch. I'm going to, actually start preparing these things ahead of time. So I'm on track to be good. I should be through all of the initial drafts by the end of this week, heading into, back into Wake Forest week. Yeah, and just going from there. So it will be a lot, but hey, I it's a blessing to be busy, and having a top 5 recruiting class and all of those notebooks and all the content that I normally create or we create for that time, as well as preparing for hopefully an ACC championship game. It is a lot, but I got these big shoulders and I can take it, man. Let's go.